Raheen Fatima is a TEDx speaker, SDG activist, podcaster with a mission to inspire others to be the change they want to see in the world. Hello everyone, today I would like to introduce you to my friend Raheen Fatima. She's one of the greatest people I know and she's an amazing human being. As an SDG activist, podcaster and speaker, she has made a huge impact in her community. She's always on the mission of making things better for others, and it's a great thing that women are stepping up as leaders all over the world these days. So let's not delay and invite our super talented guest, Raheen Fatima. Hey Raheen, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, and it was a very nice introduction. So, I'm doing awesome. What about you?
I'm great. Thanks for accepting our invitation. Welcome to Talkify Show.
Well, thank you so much. I usually do accept invitations for, interviews and podcasts, but what really stood out was because you're so young, and I think, you are the same age, right? So we both are pretty young. So it does, get a little hard for me to sort of, narrow down sort of the people that I would want to be interviewed by, but like you were, for me, it was just like, yes, I'm going to do that. So
okay, so can you please introduce yourself to our lovely audience?
Sure. So my name is Raheen. I am 14. I am from Pakistan. So I keep on moving around Pakistan, so I'm not just in one place. And I'm a freshman at a high school. That means I'm a 9th grader. And I am a standup-comedian, a writer, an entrepreneur, teacher, interviewer, theater actress, peace, and a children's rights activist. And the goal of my life is pretty much to empower everyone around me, regardless of their race, their religion, their caste, or their creed.
Oh, that's too great. Okay, so let's jump into the question quickly. So, why did you start Interviewer, your podcast? What's the story behind the same?
So it was, and it's very nice that you brought this up because it's a very interesting story. I was already doing stand-up and was an entrepreneur, so I was working already, and then I started networking with people, and with meeting a lot of people came, different sort of advice that I used to get from people. And one of the people that I met was Sir Raheen Fatima, and he basically advised me to start interviewing because he thought that I was a natural networker, and I was like, okay, cool. And so I started doing that in January 12th, 2020 was my first interview. And then since then, I was actually bored. I had nothing better to do. That's why I think I followed his advice. And then from January 12th, 2020, next year, let's say by January 12th, 2022, I would be done with more than 500 interviews and sessions. So I feel like it's pretty cool what I've done, huh? Now that I think about it.
That's too great. Okay, keep doing great and do not stop making these awesome podcasts for the world to enjoy. Okay, so you just tell that you have interviewed over 500 plus people from across the world. So, and how was the experience and learning? Would you like to share some awesome interviews memory?
Honestly, it's been a big learning experience because I remember the first interview that I did was with one of my very good friends, PJ Entrepreneur, because we had talked before, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna interview PJ. Now, I did that, and then so it went on and on and on, and so with I reached the point where I was doing, on an average, 4 interviews a day, and for a month, I actually got to a maximum number of 7 interviews a day. And that was a lot, right? And through that time, I realized, okay, so I need to have an invitation message. I need to have this. I need to have a Calendly link. I need to so I use Zoom, and I also use StreamYard. This is the first time I'm using this, though.
Yeah, so same for me.
So I did all those things, and then I was like, so this is how I'm going to invite them on, 5 minutes before I'm going to walk them through the format. After that, I'm going to, stop the recording or stop the live and actually, say thanks to them and goodbye in a proper way. So with that, I'd say standardized my whole process. And then with the memories I have is just amazing, because there's many times that I interviewed someone, and I actually want to share a recent one. So I interviewed a guy named Michael Strong. So I do a lot of educational interviews, and so I did one of that, and it was Michael, and he was a mutual connection, and he's very big in education. He has his own school, the Socratic Experience. I interviewed him, and then we sort of had a chat about how I would like to join the school, his school, right? Okay. And so we had a whole talk about that, and then though the fees is nowhere near I can afford, okay? If I start paying for that, I go bankrupt. So I asked him for a scholarship, and then he did give me a scholarship. So I am, they don't give out scholarships actually, but I am the only 100% scholarship student at the school I'm going to right now, the Socratic Experience. And me and Kashish did have a talk about it before, because I was saying the last exam I gave, the actual written exam that I gave was in 7th grade. Now I'm in 9th grade. I just started 9th grade, like high school, with the Socratic Experience. And honestly, I don't have to give anything but quizzes and then, practice SATs if I'm going to college and giving an SAT. And I have to give an actual SAT, I think, in my senior year. So I am good.
You are lucky. Okay, so you have met so very great personality. You're doing amazing things in their respective fields, and I'm sure that has been a great experience. So moving on to the next my next question. So you are also the youngest professional stand-up comedian. How did it started?
Well, that's a very long story as to how it started. I wanted to do something after. So my brother was diagnosed with blood cancer, 2018, and after going through the journey and having a realization that I had, I realized that I want to do something. I want to do something at a young age, and it was. I had this arts fest in our school, and I wanted to do something of my own. And so stand-up comedy was a suggestion, but I didn't end up doing the stand-up comedy at the arts fest. I did it outside of school. So I did it at an open mic, and I did it about aunties, and you know how our Desi aunties are, right?
Yeah.
Like Indian aunties, Pakistan aunties are literally the same, and they're so annoying. And how our mums have these whole auntie groups, and then they gossip, and then they think they don't gossip, but they do. Like they just don't realize it, I guess. So I did a whole set about that, and people loved it at the open mic. So I kept on doing open mics. Then I joined a comedy group named Comedy Square Pakistan, and so that's how that's been going. Though through COVID, I did not do any comedy because I really wanted to be safe. But now that we're back, Comedy Square is performing again. I was thinking about a set yesterday. So let's see if I could perform again after COVID. But it's amazing to be a comedian, right? Because I feel like it really helped me to be a performer than I was when I started doing theater. Because comedy, you can see everybody's reaction. You can be like, that joke's working, that joke's clearly not working.
Yeah.
And so you can get real life feedback, and then you got to continue based on that. So I feel like that's really awesome. Learning.
That's awesome. So you are an SDG activist. What are your focus and what are you doing in that area?
I actually got to know of the SDGs in later 2019. 2019 was like my power year, and I think every year is my power year, because even now, like this year, I was like, oh my God, 2021 is my power year. And I say that every year. So I've been blessed that way. But coming back to the SDGs, so I got familiar with them. And then because I already knew a lot of people that were working on them as their focus. So I got connected with the SDG Academy Pakistan. And then I have been a youth representative and ambassador for them. ever since. I actually got that title New Year's Eve. So we were, I think 2-3 hours away from 2020 back then. But so my main focus is climate. Because of my work that I've been doing on climate and spreading the awareness of it. But now that I feel like we're doing a lot of interviews, it has maybe shifted a little towards quality education first. And very importantly, probably the closest to my heart, the best for last, is SDG 17. So it is basically partnering up for these goals. And so I collaborate, like I reach out to so many people. Like I've got, I've got like the maximum amount of friends everywhere. Like I've got 5,000 the maximum amount for Facebook, and I have to like sort of clean my friend list if that's even possible. That's like a little offensive to say, but like the people that I don't know like at all or never talked to, I just like then have to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say kick them out of my friend list because that makes me sound weird. But then I kind of have to make room for new friends that I'm actually talking to, and then I collaborate on new projects and podcasts like these, right? So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, like that's really commendable to see you putting best of your efforts and also motivating others. So yeah, creator actress. How did that start, and what's the start behind the scene?
That was actually awesome. I mean, honestly, that was pretty cool. Because see, I had already been that point in time. I was, and that too is in 2019. Was it 2020? No, it's 2019. So I had already been doing comedy, and so the people that were part of our comedy group were also doing theater. So it was, here, the artist community, so to say, the comedians and the theater actors, they're all very, very connected. So I got invited for this audition. And so I remember it was a very, very busy day. And it was like, I got to school, then I got to the incubation center. So I got to the office. I had to work there, and then I had to give an audition, and then be back in time for a rehearsal of our comedy show, and then be at home because I had a test tomorrow. I had a science test tomorrow that I had no idea as to what was going to happen. It was horrendous. I no, cells is not my thing. Biology, no. But and so I went there, and then it turned out it was not like an audition because the actors were already there, and they're like, so you look the part, you look like our perfect Bano, and yeah, so you have the part. And I didn't have to do it like, quite anything, though I practiced my lines a lot, so I give myself the full credit there. And then we just practiced, went through our lines, and I got the play, and then I did that. But theater takes extreme effort because you've got to learn the lines and then not look that you learned the lines. And
it should be
used to work like 3-4 hours for 45 days, I'd say. So it was that was for a 45 minutes play. So it could have been way longer. Let's say it was a 2-hour play, or was in parts but longer than that. So. It was an amazing experience. And then I did many other things. I started working on children's rights and child abuse in theater then. So I started doing that through puppet plays. And then we actually went across Pakistan. So we went to 2-3 other cities and did theater there in charity schools and spread awareness about children's rights and child abuse.
Wow, we should get some bigger roles soon. Okay, so
yeah.
You're also an entrepreneur. Tell us something about your venture.
So I actually in the past have had a lot of ideas that I've worked on, and then So one I worked with a startup as well, but then I I realized that I need something more. I need something of my own, something like my personal brand. And so I'm working on an idea right now, which, because it's not launched yet, I would not like to say more about it. But I am working on it, and you will get to see a lot more about that. And it's very closely related to my work. Well, it is my work. Well, I should
Okay.
not say that, but okay.
Oh, superb. That's great. Best of luck for the same. Okay. You got a chance to meet His Holiness Dalai Lama. How did that go? Any memory from that meeting?
Of course, I have a lot of memories. Memories like waking up 4 in the morning for that. But okay, so how that happened was pretty interesting. I started working with this organization, One Better World Collective, as a liaison, and I used to be in their meetings and everything. And so so this guy that is basically organizing the whole event contacts me, and he's like, "So can I have a meeting with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so he talks about there was supposed to be this other girl that was supposed to be part of this, but she couldn't do it, unfortunately, and she couldn't do it last minute. So I think it was like 2 weeks before the event that this happened, and for that big scale of an event, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
For
of
somebody
course.
just to not be able to come. And he was like, "Do you think you would be able to do this?" And I'm like, was that a question or was that a statement? I'm like, of course I'm gonna do this, because the Dalai Lama has been very close to my heart, and because my dad has been meditating for a very long time and has been inspired by a lot of spiritual leaders, the Dalai Lama has always been on the top of his list of people that inspire him, and then so me as well. And I remember when I started meditating, that is very long ago. I actually used to dress up like the Dalai Lama because I thought I'd meditate better that way. That doesn't work, but it was cute for a 2.5-year-old. And I hop on there, and then when I get a chance to introduce myself, I remember he had people around him that would sometimes help him with translation. And when I introduced myself, I don't know, he confirmed something in Tibetan. Tibetan is a language, right? He goes, say good. And I'm like, oh my God. And my heart just stopped. So it was an amazing event overall. And then after that, I contacted his team, and I was like, I don't know about other people that were part of the event, but I want something that was like a memory of the event. So can I get something like a signed postcard? So I do have, in fact, a signed postcard from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And so it's written, I don't remember it by heart, but it's basically a wish for a sustainable world for all of us, and then
Yeah.
it's signed. So I think it's awesome that I have like a whole signed postcard by His
Oh,
Holiness.
wow. That must be a great feeling for sure. Okay. So, mistakes have the power to turn you into something better than who you were before. So, tell us about your biggest failure or challenge faced in your journey.
There's been many, many challenges, and I mean, a lot of mistakes that I made too.
Mistake make man perfect.
Yeah, that's true. And also make women perfect. Let's also say
Yeah.
say that we're two powerful women
Mistake
in the house.
makes, mistake make man and woman perfect.
Yeah. I don't know. So I feel like what challenge should I say? Give me an example to make it easier for me.
Like you can tell something, your biggest failure or something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so what happened once is I pitched an idea. It was an idea that I had for a business, and in my mind, it was like a unicorn. And, like in my mind, it was like already like $1 billion startup. So in my mind, it was huge. Okay, again, emphasize on in my mind.
Okay.
I had a whole presentation for it, and I pitched it to one of my business mentors at the time, and he's listening to me the whole time, and I think it's very sweet that he was listening. And then he was like, "Wait, did you research for it?" And I go like, "Yeah, a little bit, if that even was an answer." And so he goes like, "So there's
there's something like
in
that.
The market, yeah, this is going on in the market. So it's not quite a need for it." But you know what was? And I was like, "Oh my God, don't say that! Don't say that!" And then he goes like, "But you know why I'll listen to your presentation? Because I give like a very nice presentation. Like, honestly, I brag about myself about that. But he was like, it's amazing. And honestly, it was not even like a sort of, the sort of things like it's a contest or it's scheduled. Yeah. He was walking around in the incubation center, and I stopped him and I'm like, do you have like 10 minutes? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we sat in a corner and we did that. He's like, nobody's ever done that. And that's so special that you did. And so I, honestly, the drive back home wasn't so great because I just didn't feel like it. My parents were like, I don't know why she's so sad. But I reached home and I realized I had a party with my friends. So I still had a party with my friends. I did that. And the next day I had a comedy show. So I did that. And the whole week was very, very busy. And then after I was like done with the busyness, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't even say that was a failure. Because, okay, yes, it had been made, but it gave me a lesson that I should do more research next time. And it gave me, like a nice feedback about my presentational skills. So, yeah, by the time, I think I didn't really have time to be, sad. Where like in movies about life, there's like a sad song playing and there's a person just walking lonely. I didn't have that moment. I had my working moment, and by the time I was done with it, I was just over it. So
yeah, okay, cool. So what type of changes would you like to bring to the world? I know you are already focusing on SDG goals, but what's the bigger picture you have in your mind for the world?
I mean, there's a lot of things, honestly, that I would like to change in the world. But first of all, I would want to change the Orthodox education system to what it is. It's not about memorization, for the love of God. It's not, because I was in that position for a very long time. So I can say that with experience, that it's not about memorization. It's not about the knowledge or studies that were done back in 2005. We need to be learning something from at least 2015. Update it all, change it. Like my school, the Socratic experience has done an amazing job. Like all high schoolers are together. So 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders are all together. Like I'm honestly, my closest friend in class is a 12th grader, and then also friends from like different grades. And all of us are learning together and learning different things. We actually did a play that's Antigone by Sophocles, and it is 2,500 years old, and it's very, very hard English. So we do these sort of things. We read Plato, Aristotle, basically Greek philosophers. So we read the material and we have Socratic discussions about it. And yes, we also have to study science, but we have to study STEM and STEM by video games. So we learn through video games, which is pretty cool. Though I do not play video games, but works out. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm not saying make every school like the Socratic experience, but there's many, many different educational models out there that could be experimented with if people would want to do that. And if, I wouldn't even say students, if learners would want to learn there. And if guides, not teachers, would want to contribute to bigger goals there.
Awesome. This would be really amazing. Best of luck with the same. Okay, so we play a small rapid fire in our show, and in this we are only going to get 10 seconds. So for 10 seconds for each question. So are you ready?
Let me have a sip of water. I mean, I don't know what I'm in store for. I need to be able to answer this being politically correct. Not that it's politics questions, but
For sure.
fire away.
Okay, then let's get started. If you had a chance to change your first name, what would you change it to?
If I was,
If you had a chance, if you had to change your first name, so what would you change it to?
I would change it to Iman, which translates to faith in Arabic and in Urdu. So,
Okay, so what were you afraid of as a child?
a mas chappal.
Oh,
That's what I was afraid of. Come on. Every single Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, like Southeast Asian child is afraid of that. Like, she gives you the eyes and you know it's coming.
okay. So, what item is worth spending more money on?
I think the experiences are what should be spent the most money on. Like,
Yeah.
if, for example, I know it's weird if I will say this because I do have an iPhone, but I would rather spend the money on a nice, even like a local or more like in my country vacation than an iPhone.
Okay, cool. So, if you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
You know, okay, butterfly. That's my answer. You got it in 10 seconds, but I have like a little thing to share. One of my aunts, I was on a call with her, and so we were talking after a long time, and she goes like, she's my mom's cousin and her best friend, and she goes like, you know, I tell this to my daughter and to you guys are like butterflies, and I go like, what? What? So you guys are little butterflies, and then you guys are becoming women. You guys are becoming big butterflies, beautiful butterflies. And I'm like, oh my God, that's about the sweetest and weirdest thing somebody's ever said to me. So that's what I thought.
Okay. So, what is the one thing you regret spending money on?
Many things. But I don't know. Recently, I went crazy on a Harry Potter's fan sort of site where they sort of sell those things, and I got 2 rings. Both are not my size. Both are so big that they do not even fit my thumb, and I regret buying both of them.
Okay. What is not a big deal to most people, but it tortures you?
Oh my God, getting off of school. So I'm off of school because of now Christmas break. I think we got off of school on the 18th. It's the last day. And ever since then, I miss school. Like, you know, I don't want to say it to people because I feel weird. I feel bad saying it. I feel like, oh my God, what a nerd I am. I miss school. Shame on me. But my school is so good, and I miss my school friends. And now because see, a lot of them are celebrating Christmas, so they can't even hop on Zoom and, you know, have a chat. But I miss school, and I miss that terribly. And being off of school is not a cool thing. I actually had COVID, and when I was recovering from COVID, I still went to school. I had COVID, that was at Thanksgiving week, so I was off. And then I was recovering from COVID, so I still had a very bad cough and everything. And I still went to school. I had a choice not to, but I did because I had to. Because, like, I don't know why I had to.
Okay. So, I hope you are fine now.
Yeah, I'm all good. It's been quite a while, but I still have a cough. I have cough most of the time.
Oh. Okay. Like the. Okay. So, what is the funniest thing you have ever witnessed during a Zoom meeting?
I've witnessed many things, but one of them is okay. So I was still going back to normal school back then, and so it turns out one of our teachers was sick, and another one had to come in for that. And so we're just talking, and then one of the girls, she's unmuted, and she goes like, and so this. I'm just gonna say this in Hindi. So we knew the teacher was sick, okay? And she goes like, "Mama, मुझे पता है बीमार है ना बीमार होंगी, सो रही होंगी, मैं जानती हूँ उनको." the girl's unmuted, and all of us could hear it. And the she was in a substitute teacher. She was our English teacher, and her lesson was next, so she just came in a period earlier. But she goes like, Minahil, how can you say that? That is so disrespectful. She's in the hospital. She's that sick, and she goes like, sorry, madam, I never said that. And she's like, beta, we all heard it.
That's too funny. Okay. What word do you have a hard time pronouncing?
I have a lot of words that I have a hard time pronouncing, but one of them used to be serendipity. Serendipity. I think I'm still not pronouncing it right, but serendipity.
Okay. So, this was really fun, right? Okay, so the nice one was Zoom meeting. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. What message would you like to give to the audience?
I'd like for everyone. I would want to give out a message. See, me, I'm young. Kush is young, and we both are doing something that I believe we are loving. We both are interviewers. We both talk to people from around the world, and I'm not saying that you guys start talking to everyone around the world, because that might or might not be your thing. But what I'm trying to say is that age is just a number that applies to everyone, and that's just a number for how many years we've been in this world. And it's the reality when we start going to college, or after college, when we start finding a job or applying for internships. They all require some experience, and we don't have it because we don't think we're supposed to have it. We're supposed to be fresh out of college, but that's not the definition anymore. So gain the experience right now. Don't wait until you're 18. Just wait on that when you try driving. Trust me. Just try experimenting now. And I feel like me and Kashish are an example of, we experimented, we found what we love, and we're doing it. And we're two happy girls that are doing it. And then, so not only can this make us on the safe side, but what's better is that because we start young, we have more experience being in the real world. Now, this coming February, I'm going to hit 3 years of professional experience, and I'm 14. So, I feel like that's a very cool thing. So that by the time I'm going to be 18, I'm already going to be 7 years in. Get it? So that's my point. So, yeah.
That's great. That's a brilliant takeaway from Raheen, and I'm sure it will help you all. So, Raheen, would you like to say something about Talkify Show and myself?
Oh yeah, honestly, Kashish, you're a very nice interviewer, because I've been interviewed many times, unfortunately, by many people with very different interviewing styles, and a lot of them, they have the same questions for me, and then they expect me to give the same answer, and they just nod to that and ask the next question. I like how on every answer of mine, you also give like a nice, how do you feel about my answer sort of statement. So I really like that, and I like your style a lot, and I would love to have a session with you. So yeah, that would be lovely. And Talkify Show is a very nice idea, and I honestly not only support every young person that is doing something that requires them to step out of their comfort zone, but I feel like, because I have been there, I know that it is real hard to be in that situation. And now that you are, I love you for doing that. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Raheen. That's so kind to say that, and really means a lot to me. And coming from one host to other, okay, so it was fun hosting you today. Hope to host you again sometime soon. For now, thank you so much, and goodbye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I view here, if you like this video, then please share it with your friends or family, so that other people can also get motivation or get inspired. So also, if you want to join me for the show as a speaker, please drop me a DM on LinkedIn, and we'll get in touch with you for the same. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Thank you so much, and good night. Okay, yeah, it was really great. Thank you so